Folks, the Virtual Boy for Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch brings us closer to the reality of dual screen functionality for everyone's favorite modern console. My name is Andrew Bolkar with Upstairs Downstairs Game Talk, and I will never not be standing on a street corner wearing a cardboard sign that reads, "Dual screens are coming our way." Let's get into it. So for a long time, I was told that the idea of a dual screen for my Switch 2 was a figment of my imagination, a myth, a false prophet. Until recently, when the Virtual Boy accessory was confirmed for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Now, why is this a herald of the upcoming promised times? Let me explain. Recently, and it's come out before, I can't remember exactly when, but patent, which I don't hold a lot of stock in, admittedly, was refreshed for a dual screen for Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2. Now, people immediately dismiss the idea of a dual screen becoming a reality for Switch or Switch 2, primarily for three reasons. One, it would be expensive. They don't think Nintendo has the cojones to sell us an accessory that would, cost upwards of $100. That would, going into point number two, that would limit the amount of people that could enjoy specific software. And for me, I'm specifically thinking of DS and 3DS games coming to Nintendo Classics. Okay. Of course, DS and 3DS games, they require two screens to play because of the original hardware they were on. And if you created a peripheral for Switch 2, you would be immediately ostracizing all those poor souls that have a single screen Switch. And point number three, and this one I think is even sillier than the other two. They think it would weigh a lot. It would be uncomfortable to hold and utilize, right? Adding the tremendous weight and girth of a second screen does not sound fun. For a while I bought into these arguments against my dream of a secondary Switch until back in September when Nintendo announced the upcoming release of the Virtual Boy attachment for Switch and Switch 2. And it spits in the face of all these arguments, right? One, it's expensive. The Primo Virtual Boy attachment or accessory for Switch and Switch 2 is $100, or you can get the poor man's cheapo cardboard version for $25. It is required play Virtual Boy games on Nintendo Classics. You cannot access this library of games unless you buy into the Virtual Boy hardware accessories. And point number three, I don't know if anyone's ever actually used a Virtual Boy. They kind of sucks. There's a reason no one, except for the olds, really like this thing. It is not comfortable. And yet it exists. And I would argue to say that even the cardboard, the cheaper version, is probably going to suck even more because you have to play it in handheld and smush the cardboard against your face to use it. So we already are living in a reality where Nintendo is offering up an accessory to our console that flies in the face of three criteria for why a dual screen can't exist. And man, I really think that in light of this, a dual screen, we're even closer to living in that utopia. A dual screen was on my list of predictions for Switch 2. It would have been crazy to come out at launch, but I think definitely not 2026. I think we could be looking at a 2027 dual screen announcement paired with the announcement for Nintendo DS games to come to Nintendo classics. I don't know if they would go so far as to say you can't play it without the dual screen, because I think the poor man's version is going to be like a Bluetooth dongle that you plug into your dock and it turns your TV into that second screen. I think they're going to have that alternative. I think the fact that we've seen an alternative for the Virtual Boy indicates that Nintendo is somewhat thinking of those who don't want to fork over potentially hundreds of dollars for this accessory. And guys, I really can't, if it gets announced, it's not even like I'm excited because I'm right, although I do love to be right. It's one of my personality traits, is being right all the time. But I'm just so excited at the fact that my Nintendo Switch 2 could be really weird to have. The fact that it would have this giant dual screen monstrosity really fills my heart with joy. And I think we're close. I think we're approaching that horizon where the second screen is waiting for us on a beautiful silver platter. But let me know what you think. Do you agree that we're closer to seeing a dual screen revealed to us in the future? Do you think I'm full of beans? If you can, leave a comment down below. All the other stuff, if you like the video, if the topic seems fun to you, like it, ring-a-ding-a-ling the bell, subscribe, all that stuff. Just would really love to hear your thoughts. My name is Andrew Bolkar with Upstairs Downstairs Game Talk, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.